think this does it. I'm just gonna stay on because I'm not sure what's going on and it looks really different, but hopefully you hear me. So thank you for enjoying your sweetest moments with me merging timelines. I'm a little nervous because I haven't done a live in a long time. So hopefully the first person in can let me know if you guys hear me or not. I'm not used to the screen looking like this, so hopefully you can hear me. My name is Melanie, an angelic melody Melanie, the airy fairy mystic. Today's story time is going to be about the hardest part of my spiritual awakening. And I feel like this is a story time that a lot of people can relate to. And so my intent is to provide context surrounding the new emerging terms that we use in the spiritual community, such as transcending, transcendence, transmutation, all of those words that we're always using in our spiritual understanding when we communicate with others. I want to kind of bring that within this storyline. I'm going to go over what happened, who do I blame, and where I am as a result of it. So to start, my spiritual awakening started in 2012. And I don't know if you guys get the same signs and symptoms that I do, but mine manifested within my body as like a jolting or like a tremor, like shakes. Hey, Jackie. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy you're here because I'm nervous. And I don't do this all the time. I don't even like talking about me. I'm really Aquarius vibes. So, anyways, I'll get back into what I was saying about the fact that 2012 happened and it was the end of the Mayan calendar as a lot of people know it, the end of the Mayan calendar. And it was the end of my reality too, in a way, what I knew to be my reality due to familiarity and learned behaviors, the way I was brought up, I really looked for that within myself and tried to go for that. I think at some point it provides like a X or Y paradigm. And within those two places, you get to decide, okay, am I going to try to do it the way I've been shown to do it, or am I going to try to do it another way? And at that time, I chose my comfortability. I went after the idea of love through my learnt behavior and the conditioning of my society. I chose to be with someone based off of what I felt like I could bring to the table for them and what they brought to the table for me. And it was based off of a lack mentality, if you will. You complete me and I complete you. So that is the start of my awakening. I'm going to take you back in the timelines of when I actually met my first life, like my past life. Many people relate to this within reincarnation. I relate to this within the same lifetime, just different sections of it that I identify with, choosing on my awareness of how I wanted to facilitate the next cycle of it. I'm going through the last 10, which was 2012 to 2021. And this was the one that I chose to evolve out of, this last one that I was speaking of. But I have to go back to the past life, and that's the one where I was conditioned or raised through a mind frame that was passed on to me through my parents. I'm raised in a two-parent household. So my two-parent household, my mom is much like, if you've ever watched WandaVision, my mom's very much like Wanda, right, Jackie? And she sheltered us to the point where we would see no evil. You know, that was her intent, that it would be saving us in a sense by sheltering us from the outside world. And my dad was the typical provider. He went out and he was in the military, you know, for some time. And for my entire life, my dad was in the military, and they did this excellent partnership where they worked together, not even realizing that they were working on the same project. I think a lot of their mind's reality didn't comprehend that it was the same project because it was on two different ends. And so this is the light that I wanted to create within the fragmentation I see amongst the collective. I see a fragmentation because of how our world is created. It, by evidence of God, we are created from two, you know, and those two create something. And then that's how we see it through its process, you know, through its time. I feel like if I was to say I blame anyone, it would definitely be my societal conditioning. I feel as though the way our systems are created, it's to cut out the middleman. And who is the middleman in this scenario? It's definitely the feminine. You know, it's definitely the feminine because she's the one that creates life, you know, and within her process, life is born, and we see that in our day-to-day lives. But when the reward comes from the society instead of the root of where the stem of creation starts from, then we start to get misguided within our vision of how our world is created. Okay? And so I say that to say I wanted to touch on the past timeline to shed light on my two aspects because they are now separated. And I feel that with as little judgment, I think the very main reason for not being in harmony is because they worked on two different ends of the project. And so coming back together, the feelings weren't matched based off of that. Simply just being on two different ends of it. You know, one person working to provide and another person working to nurture what is being provided. Unfortunately, when you're not doing it within the same time and space, the separation that you feel or that is created within the external world creates more of an illusion. And then you start to forget more and more what it is that you're working towards. I've seen that play out in my own reality. Now, there's always three different aspects to one sense of awareness for all of us. So some people didn't have that two-parent household. I know my twin flame didn't have that. He actually only had his mom. And I'll let him tell his story later on down the line, but that's where I wanted to start. And that's who I wanted to blame. And where am I going as a result? I created this channel, Merging Timelines, because I had a desire to understand both of my parents' minds and emotions surrounding what was created prior to my existence. You know, I had a deeper desire to understand what love really was. What is love? You know, then I, in a very angry way, was trying to understand, well, if this wasn't love, then what is it? You know, what was it? And I think it very much was love. It just gets to a point where if we forget what we're creating because we're not getting that we're the creator, we're not getting her story, we get his story because we've already created some system that's our structure, our functioning structure. And it works great, you know, it works great, but it also works to divide us even more, you know, and that's what I want us to see, is that it works to divide us more. And when we're not in the same place with our creation, right? When we're not nurturing and providing within the same time and space shared with those that we wish to commune with, we become more and more fragmented, which just means we lack the purpose and the meaning behind it, because we're not as nearly invested with those that we're surrounded with. We're at work, we're on the whole other side of the world, and we're told before we get there to leave our feelings at the door, so it doesn't even matter. And I really wanted to say that the hardest part of my awakening has been witnessing this unfold, and then seeing my family still identify with religion. Unfortunately, I never identified with religion, and I didn't know how to say that I could go in a space and not feel the presence like I was shown by others. And I know that it was just kind of weird to find the confidence within myself to say, hey, like, if you feel it, you feel it. But I can stand in the same time and space with you and honestly say that my first 11/11, my first evidence of God was after praying 7 consistent years for my son. Like, I prayed and prayed for 7 years. I used manifestation tools before I even knew what manifestation tools were. I was driving around with a teddy bear in my car in the seatbelt, just crazy, but doing my own childlike way of feeling like I had something I wanted. And whole below, that happens to be the way that you actually gain things. You get in this childlike nature of creating its mind within your own reality, or reality within your own mind, sorry. And then boom, it just gets here. So I thought it was the praying of 7 years, but it literally was that time frame that I waited to gain that manifestation. And then I felt the presence. Then I felt a deeper meaning, Then everything became my own thought and feeling. Literally, I discovered merging timelines off of having this idea of I have a son, and with him and my feelings, I can redefine what love looks like to me, because I didn't feel alive prior. I'll be honest, I was looking for someone who would receive me as I was, who would take me as I was, to play a role that I was conditioned to play because I thought that was my value, And I just feel as though at this time, it's really important to talk about where I created merging timelines, because reading, and I see a lot of people not explaining why they're reading, or where did we even get this idea of reading, And then I started to get on myself and say, well, Mel, you're guiding a lot of people, and you talk to them, you don't really know them, because when I read you, I only ask for your name. I don't know your birthday. I just ask for the name, And what's that, Jackie? You said, oh my God, that's what happened when I got pregnant, my son. I realized what love was. Oh my gosh, thank you for sharing that, because now I feel so you feel so lonely out here in the world, but like, that was the very first realization that God is real. And you start to pair like, wow, if I can do this, what else can I decide within myself? What else can I have? And it even gets deeper. I felt within that I really wanted to say, okay, I'm so having to create this idea of love for this person. Okay, now it's even more important for me to decide what is love, And that happened to be when I separated from my child's father. I separated basically because I knew prior that the life that I was experiencing didn't give me life. So losing my voice, didn't give me life, but it made me want life. And I think that is ass backwards, but our inverted world is very ass backwards, So that was my first realization of, oh, I want something, but if I want something, I have to have intent. I have to know that if I'm wanting it, it is to give it back what it's giving to me. And so I say my son gave me life. You know, I laugh about it and say I'm the modern day Mary because I prayed 7 years for him. And instantaneously, every bit of like death or I was not suicidal, okay, but I did experience people in that term, in that way. And I didn't find reason to live myself or purpose to live until I had my son. And then I had him, and then life just seems like, yeah, I have a mission. I have to do this and I have to do that. I have to discover what is love for him because I can't tell him something that I don't know. And so it wasn't enough to go to church. It wasn't enough to hear other people say that Jesus saves. I've seen and witnessed people wait for him to save. And I say it very gently because I know a lot of people will watch this video and they'll discredit my feelings based off of my own experience. But that is just fine because it is just that. It is my experience and my experience to be shared with those who feel as though they're in the same time and space and just want to be felt as a normal being, as someone who is not demonic or a demon or a devil worshiper because they don't believe in the stories and the lies that are fed to the collective. They actually believe that the collective is the light and that the more and more that we ignite each other, the less and less we need their system to vibe. We are the vibe that they're using to create their systems, you know? So shout out to all those people who feel like you're a part of that new world. I feel like we're already here. And sorry for how scattered this conversation has gone. It's my Gemini moon and all of the nerves because it can go from boom, 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 and back. And it can put on all types of shows and stories and act them out and everything. But I'm just getting really comfortable with getting on live and talking to you about my experience. Hopefully I went in enough about it because it was very, very awkward for me, but it's my first live, so I'm gonna be gentle with myself and say, hey, I'm not for everybody, but there's a certain select few of people who can really relate to what I'm sharing and find peace within their own time and space. And that's what it's about. You know, for me, it's about making other people feel understood because the hardest part of my journey has been not having family. You know, my entire family are still Christian. You know, shout out to the Christian community. It's always love, I promise, but my mind wanted to expand to fit more people within it. I didn't want to just sit with one group of people. I didn't feel like that was normal. And so I removed every label within the 5-pointed star. Every label. You know, anything you can think of. Sex, religion, title, none of it mattered. None of it still matters, you know. I just want to share with people like you, Jackie. You're awesome. You're doing good too. I see you posting videos every single day, and shout out to you for doing it because it's so weird to bring our character to life when we've been trained and conditioned to kind of sit behind the screen and only a few staged select few get to be highlighted while the rest of us look and feel less a part of what is actually being shown. And that couldn't be more less true. Mission to bring back the connectivity amongst all of us. So thank you for supporting me, Jackie. You're the best. You've watched all my videos pretty much. We share a lot of the placements, and I feel like we are connected on a way deeper soul level. So thank you for helping me feel comfortable tonight. I'll try to get on tomorrow because I was going to make another statement about my 10-year cycle. Remember, we were talking about that. The Mayan calendar ended in 2012, and then it's now starting up in 2022. We might have to go live together so that I feel comfortable. You're such a vibe as a Gemini. We could go from topic to topic with ease. So hit me up. We're going live. And yeah, I don't even know what I was saying before that, but I think it's time to just collab with others and connect and feel vibrant together. I have this weird way of like, I don't want to be seen, or I don't want to be the only one in the light, because it's weird to me. So yeah, I think that's going to be it for tonight, guys. 2012 to the 2021 10-year cycle, I really need to cover that because it's a big gap. Jackie will probably help me cover that because she seems to resonate with it too. I've been shown we're 10 years ahead, some of us who are on this cycle, because we understand the inverted actions of the first timeline that I was talking about. It's flip-floppy, but hopefully Jackie can help me with that because I don't know how to explain it. But literally 10 years ahead, and then in 10 years, people are really going to start getting everything that we get today. So we're only ascending the entire planet, and ascending it within our minds. We're not ascending it within, oh, we're going somewhere. Our minds create our reality. So if we believe we're walking into the golden gates, we're going to be walking into the golden gates. And if we believe we're going to die to get there, then we'll die to get there. You know, that's the power of us. She says, my cycle started 6 years ago. I got a premiere coming up in 30 minutes. Awesome. Okay. I'm so excited. You're all right. Well, I'm going to get off of this because I need to go and get ready for work tomorrow. But thank you so much again for sharing time and space with me. Love you guys. Bye.